We're moving on in the program. Let me share the agenda real quick with you guys. It's Defiance Silver. Doug Cavey is joining us. He's the VP Corp Development for Defiance Silver. And the company put out drill results this morning. Doug, I'm excited to hear about them. Over 3 kilograms were hit of silver, obviously. So not gold, but silver. Quite exciting. Tell us all about it.
Thank you, Kai. Yes, we did have news out this morning, and I'll just get right into it with the presentation. They are the Maiden results off of a program. Pretty interesting, very rare to step into such a old district and find chunks of land that don't have drill holes into them. So that was pretty fun for us. And so here we go. Just let me go here. All right. So yes, Defiance Silver. We are a Mexico-focused based precious metal polymetallic exploration, gold, silver, copper. We've got it all here. I will be making forward-looking statements. Look forward to continue to make forward-looking statements as we continue to work on our projects. It's a very good position to be in that we have the results to support these statements we're making. So as mentioned, we have 2 projects. We're Mexico-focused, 2 projects in Mexico. Our Zacatecas district project, which Kai mentioned this morning. We had news coming out this morning, which I'll touch on in just a minute. Located right in the middle of Mexico. It's one of the most historic districts in Mexico. It's in a billion-ounce silver camp, part of a trend of mineralization that's produced over 10% of the world's cumulative silver production historically. So a very, very fertile area to be looking in Mexico for these types of deposits. We have a small resource on there that we're building on, and I'll talk a little bit about what we've been doing there to expand on that existing resource. And because of the history of the area, we have tremendous infrastructure on the property, including power, paved roads to the asset. There's an international airport 20 minutes away. Like I said, we're on the power grid and very skilled local workforce that we're working with and very proud to be working with. We have a variety of ownership in that camp, but everything is under option or owned to 100%. Our Topal project, located in Michoacan, Mexico, southwest of Guadalajara. It's about 4.5-hour drive, 5.5-hour drive from Guadalajara. Totally different project. It's a porphyry epithermal camp, gold, copper, large, 1.8 million ounces measured indicated gold, 813 million pounds of copper, and again, great infrastructure there. Big difference. We have 100% ownership that we bought about 2.5, almost 4 years ago now. And then we also recently entered into an option to repurchase the NSR on that project. So what's the 50,000-foot view on Defiance? We do have a real robust resource base. At Topal, we have over 800 million pounds of copper, 1.8 million ounces of gold. At San Nicasio, we have a building resource. It's 16.9 million ounces of gold, 16.9 million ounces of silver in a district that has exceptional exploration potential, as we demonstrated with our results this morning. Both projects have room to move on the resource building potential, but also room to move on that more life of project exploration and call it greenfields or brownfields exploration potential. And maybe our greatest asset is the people that we work with here in Mexico, right from the ground up in Mexico. We have over 100 years of cumulative experience working on projects here in this country, some of us being guests of this country for decades, taking projects from exploration discoveries through to M&A and mine development. When you combine our senior leadership, that's over 200 years of cumulative experience, and we really do think that that is one of the greatest assets we offer to people here with their exposure to these projects. Strong leverage to precious metal prices. If we get to it, we get time to it, I'll talk about Topal price sensitivity, but every $250 movement in the price of gold adds $100 million to the post-tax NPV of our Topal project. And as we said, that Zacatecas resource upside, as much as it is a cliche for a precious metal company to say that you have leverage to precious metal prices. We're highly aligned with our shareholders. Management key shareholders are our biggest shareholders. 2 funds controlled by the CEO are the largest shareholders of the company. About 40% is held by management key shareholders and insiders of the company. And drill-ready exploration targets, we've demonstrated that consecutively drilling some of the highest grade results in the district, working up very systematically, looking at the historic nature of the district, but also looking at the mineral system's potential, and then walking up and drilling them, being fully funded to do that. We have about $14 million cash in the bank, trading anywhere 65 cents. I didn't check this morning yet. About 22 million shares, common shares, 262 million fully diluted. We've got some warrants in the money from a financing that expired in 2022, and then a couple more that fall off in 2023. And as I mentioned, about 35–40% insiders institutional ownership. So Zacatecas, it is one of the most historic mining districts on the planet. We're about 35 kilometers away from the Fresnillo mining district, which is the world's largest primary silver mining complex. We have, which is about an 8 billion ounce silver district over there. We're not really shy about our district either. In the production history, it's over 1 billion ounces of silver. We've heard anywhere from 3 to 10 million ounces of gold. Again, that's probably anecdotal, that number. We have an option to acquire 100% of our main resource area. We have an option to acquire 100% of the Lucita project from Pan American. And then in 2018, we outright bought MAG Silver's Zacatecas district landholding, which is the Lagartos project on strike with the Cozumel mine. We're in a pretty unique situation in that we have projects sort of all over the various elevations of the mineral systems and the various kind of time horizons of the mineral systems here. Dominantly located in the Veta Grande and Malanoche veins, but now we're up in the north and seeing that we're in a bit of a different flavored mineral system there with our Lucita project. We've done a lot of drilling here. We've got a lot of intersections outside of our main resource estimate, and that main resource estimate's on a mineral system that's produced over 150 million ounces of silver. We really like to think of this project as Fresnillo from the 1960s. And the big reason is that there has been a paucity of modern exploration in this district since the 1960s. And those who have done it have been very successful. Our next door neighbor, Cozumel, is a large 3,800 ton per day underground operation. And they're really one of the few companies who's drilled into the full stratigraphic package, we'll say. And they've come up with some, spectacular results and are looking like they'll probably double their operation in the next 5 years. So what else for us is that the Fresnillo complex was out of ore in the 1960s. Fresnillo is the world's largest primary silver mine right now. Next door neighbors, MAG Silver, are developing the Juanicipio project, which will eclipse Fresnillo as the world's largest primary silver mine. And what it took was going and looking for new ore, going into the district, looking for the productive structures and drilling them. And in 1975, they found Santo Nino. That was 3 meters of 1,000 grams silver, 1.6 grams gold, and about 1% combined lead zinc. 2003, MAG Silver stepped into the district, drilled Juanicipio. Those first results are pretty thin, pretty high grade, but still pretty thin veins, which is showing that you can go into these districts, conduct exploration on productive structures and productive targets, and come back with results that can be taken into production given the historical infrastructure of these mining districts. So we took that to heart, and that's what we've been doing for the last 24 months here in the district. Our Lucita exploration project, which the news we had out this morning, is a partnership with Pan American Silver. It's an option to acquire 100% ownership. Pan American retains a 2% NSR. The northern block has high-grade historical drilling, and I'll touch on that in just a second. That's called Panuco. But the central block, the Lucita central block, which we're calling the Palenque vein system, is where we recently put results out in. And why we're quite intrigued about that is this block has never been drilled. It's a large land package, 20 square kilometers, and it's never had a drill hole into it, which is remarkable given the history of the district. We targeted this as a sort of Juanicipio or Fresnillo lookalike, given the position of the veins in the crustal structure of the architecture of what is this block of geology in Mexico. And we were pleasantly surprised as the first hole that we drilled was 3 meters of 700 grams per ton silver, 1.5 meters of 1,600 grams per ton silver. And then we had individual results up to 3,200 grams per ton silver. And this is, again, a first pass drill program. These were the first holes that were ever put into the system. And we have another 8 holes outstanding on this. And what does that mean for the development of our Zacatecas district projects? Well, we're always looking at what is the full mineral potential of the district. You need to have a large system for these things to move. We recognize that the synergy of this asset is tremendous. We still have a cornerstone resource build out project on the main Veta Grande area. But this is right next door. The infrastructure, again, is wonderful here. It's cross-cut or cross between the two properties is a toll highway, the Mexican National Toll Highway System. And we've really only scratched the surface of Lucita. We still have 8 holes outstanding. But yes, really good results in a very active system with a very different flavor of mineralization as the main Beta Grande area. It's much more Fresnillo lookalike, porphyry, very high level silver mineralization in veins that were very active. And the last 12 months, I should say, we've been very active mapping this asset as well. And we have over 20 kilometers of prospective structure that we'll attempt to get permits on and start to drill in the next little while. So we're really at the infancy of this type, or this asset, of this part of the district, but we like what we see so far. And as you can see, we've still got a bit of news to come out on this part of the asset. In the north, the Panuco asset, this is interesting as well because another company, Zacatecas Silver, they've been drilling effectively on our property boundary in the northern block. They've put out some great results. They're doing a really awesome job drilling out a very interesting new structure called the Tres Cruces, or they call it Panuco Norte. But those structures, they're this is vein structures don't follow property boundaries, and those vein structures, they strike onto our property. They're mapped onto our property. They're very well defined on our property, and of course, drilling on our property boundary is a very confident next step forward on this part of the asset. Pan American Silver drilled this in the 2006, 2011, 2012, came back with some pretty good results, again, looking like higher level mineralization. But they never got a drill over into the Tres Cruces vein, which is sort of that on the left-hand side of the map there. We can see those green dots where Zacatecas Silver has been drilling. That's a very high-grade structure for our neighbors. And as you can see, it does look like it does have some width, but there's a lot of strike length in there as well. So that became sort of a ramped up target for us in the northern block. And we'll get a team over there shortly, ground checking, getting our permits in order to get a drill over there as well. And then stepping into the main Beta Grande, this has been the heart of our work here at Zacatecas. This is a 150 million ounce historical producing silver system. It has a resource estimate on it. As I said, its infrastructure is phenomenal. We have a 10-minute drive from the city center on paved roads. There's roads all over the asset. We track mounted drill. We can be set up in 3 hours. We have a 5-year drill permit on this project. Power to site. There's over 25,000 tons of milling capacity within 50 kilometers of this asset. So a lot of optionality. There's been 20,000 meters of drilling done since the last resource estimate update. About 7,800 meters of that was done last year. And you can reference our last 12 months of news releases to see how that's worked out for us. On a couple of the highlights of that shortly. Again, we're in the Santa Casio block of this, or the Beta Grande block of the main Zacatecas district. So we're a bit higher than the Malanoche system. So it does give us that confidence that if we can get deeper, if we can get into that deeper stratigraphic package that hosts the Malanoche veins, Capstone's Cosamine mine, we may have the potential to see a different style of mineralization depth. But we do have this main sort of build out that we're focused in on, that pillar of a cornerstone resource estimate in the main Beta Grande district. If you can see the faint blue lines at the top of this cross section here, those are the historical drill holes done by Pan American Silver, and that's effectively the limit of the resource estimate right now. So we've drilled substantially below that, mineralized, high grade. You can see the photos here, different styles of mineralization. Still very good grade silver at depth. That's one of the deeper holes in the property, that bottom picture there, which is 1.8 meters with over 1 kilogram per ton silver. And so we haven't tested the full limits of the mineral system. And that's really our key focus, is to test the limits of the mineral system in the main Beta Grande area, and then work backwards into building out and expanding on that resource estimate that was published earlier in 2014, I believe. But the results that we did put out earlier this year do show that we have a pretty good, pretty well mineralized target building at depth. And we're going to follow up. I think we'll start drilling here in the next couple of weeks to follow up on what we thought were pretty remarkable results using very discovery-focused geoscience. And we know that discovery-focused geoscience works. It's worked for us. We've demonstrated the capacity to do it using all the tools that we can, squeezing out as much data as we can, and then testing it with the drill bit. There's only 2 ways to add ounces to a property: you can buy them or you can drill them. And we're fully financed to do that. We have $14 million in treasury. We have fully financed 2022 exploration program to test that. And at the end of the day, like I said, we're just trying to add ounces to an advanced asset in a world-class district. As I touched on, we did 4,700 meters of drilling this year at Lucita. We did 7,800 meters of drilling last year at the Beta Grande. We had high-grade results from both projects, and we will hopefully add on to that with the ongoing drill program coming up in the next couple of weeks at Beta Grande.
TikTok duck.
We're done. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. I didn't even touch on Topal yet, but we really rarely have time to do that. thought a good opportunity to update the program.
Exactly, especially since you put out results this morning that you had to talk about. So it's kind of difficult to put all together in a 12, 13-minute pitch, right?
Yeah.
So, no, fantastic. But Doug, we're out of time, but I will see you later for an SF Live breaking news special. We're going to talk about the drill results in a bit more detail. So if anybody has any more questions, please put them here in the chat. I'll ask Doug in our SF Live breaking news special later, and we'll get those on record as well. So thanks so much for joining us, Doug. Great run through the project. Quite excited what's happening in Zacatecas. I have been to the project, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more results come out of Lucita especially, and then quite excited to see what's coming out of Panuco as well. So thanks, Doug.